You know, you can always trust on professional wrestling to get you back into something when you have kind of been sort of taking a break for a little bit of time. You know, I've been so busy working on, like, Down in Flames and all that I was like, I can take a break from talking about wrestling and having these big wrestling think pieces. But then the Wyatt Sicks appeared, and oh my god, we need to talk about this. We absolutely need to talk about this, because this is massive. This is like major news within the wrestling world, and probably one of the best debuts in quite some time when it comes to wrestling. So let's just have a little chat about it. Let's just have a little chat about my thoughts and how this is the perfect debut for the Wyatt Sicks, and one of the best debuts in recent memory, maybe even one of the best in wrestling history. Let's have a little chat about it. So, on Raw, last week, we saw the debut of the Wyatt Sicks, a team led by Uncle Howdy, aka Bo Dallas. Now, we have been getting teasers, we have been getting cryptic messages for what feels like the better part of at least 2-3 months, maybe even longer. I think April 1st was the first sort of big indicator that something big was coming. And then we started getting more and more teasers. The QR code started popping up. We started getting more and more information into what was going to happen. And lo and behold, June 17th, Wyatt Sicks. And it was incredible. It was probably better than most people expected, because I know that there's a lot of conversation, a lot of, I would argue, vitriol when it comes to these spooky characters, especially recently when it comes to the creative of brainchilds of Wyndham, which the Wyatt Sicks absolutely is. But it was perfect. I mean, how much better could it have been? You had Jey Uso, who's recently adopted the Firefly stuff, celebrating, doing the Jey Uso stuff, and then the lights go out, and it's the same music, the same sound effects that are used whenever it was Bray, and it just encapsulated it perfectly. And then we got to see each individual member of the Wyatt Sicks, slowly but surely. I believe the order goes Sister Abigail, Rambling Rabbit, Mercy, then Huskus, then Uncle Howdy. And then obviously we got the Lantern and all of that. Regardless, it was fantastic. Chad Gable is dead, apparently, even though he's clear to compete on the next episode of Raw, which is probably the only downside and the only big misstep that WWE have made when it comes to the storyline so far, is to have Chad Gable come back immediately. Honestly, this was fantastic. This was perfect, and I want to bring something up, okay? There should not be a sixth member. I know people are going, it's the Wyatt Sicks. It's not even spelt six anymore. There's a six in the name. You know, it was originally going to be the Wyatt Sicks. Yeah, sure, it was going to originally be the Wyatt Sicks. However, my theory, and the thing that I want everybody to really think about, is that it was going to be called the Wyatt Sicks because Bray Wyatt was going to be a part of it. And because he's no longer with us, because Wyndham Rotunda is unfortunately no longer with us, that spot will forever and always belong to Bray Wyatt. And we know this. We know this because I believe somebody said that Uncle Howdy was wearing one glove, and it was similar to the Fiend's, but instead of heart or heel, it had Bray on it. And the Lantern's there too. It's all little nods, it's all little hints that indicate that yes, Bray Wyatt is there in spirit, and he is the sixth member. It's always going to be him. It's not going to be Alexa. It's not going to be Braun. It's not going to be any of these people, because it doesn't need to be. Alright? For starters, we don't need a six-person faction right now. We really don't. Right? Because we don't really need a faction taking over a show at the moment. We don't. We don't really need that. We've had the Bloodline do that for ages. I don't think we need it again. That and the Wyatt Sicks really don't need to be in title contention. This was like one of the biggest missteps that WWE always did with The Fiend and Bray projects, is they don't really need championships. Unless you're going to present it as a real thing, like instead of them being like mysterious creatures, it's a cult, which it should be, in theory. which I'll get onto in a little second, it should just be like a cult. It should be. It should be Uncle Howdy opening the door and letting people into the cult. That should be what it is. And revealing their true nature, which could be in the form of a Firefly Funhouse puppet or something even unique, right? And this can lead to some really interesting things. I think that we are going to see a lot of what kind of happened with The Fiend, which is whenever you wrestled The Fiend, something changed. So like with Balor, he went back to NXT and turned heel. With Seth, he became the Messiah, he became the Visionary. You know, like, a lot of these people changed. You know, Daniel Bryan changed to combat Bray Wyatt. You know, all of this stuff. And I think that's not going to change with the Wyatt Sicks. I think that we are in for a very interesting time because they're going after Chad Gable. And the thing with Chad Gable is that he's literally just gotten rid of the Alpha Academy. So what if that changes a whole new Alpha Academy? And there's this whole rumors, you know, that the Creed brothers might be getting involved in that new Alpha Academy. Now's the perfect time to do that. There is a lot that the Wyatt Sicks could add to things right now. A lot of people are saying, we need change. We need, like, some new elements added to people's characters and storylines. The Wyatt Sicks are the perfect way to do it. They're the perfect way to do it. And that's by two ways. Either by beating somebody and forcing them into a change, or by bringing them into the cult of the Wyatt Sicks, because it's spelled six, not six, which implies that they were lost, they were ill, and now they've been healed and they are on their way to their true self, which I think is a really cool thing. But no, like, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect, and I wouldn't change a thing about the Wyatt Sicks debut.